Today, I want to walk you through the most common mistakes women make right after separation. Most regret doesn't come from bad intentions. It comes from reactive timing. If you don't act now, you lose control. You lose leverage. You lose safety. You lose your chance to protect yourself. If you take nothing else from this episode, remember this one thing. Fast decisions made in emotional shock often cost more than slow decisions made with clarity. Right now, you don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to justify your reality. And you don't need to make other people comfortable with your pain. Silence in this phase is not weakness, it's protection. If you're listening to this right now, there's a good chance you're in a very specific window of time. Not the marriage, not the legal paperwork, but the space right after separation. That in between phase where life feels suddenly unstable, and yet everyone around you seems to expect that you should already know what to do next. You might be hearing things like, you should act fast, protect yourself, don't be emotional, think practically, do something before it's too late. And inside, you may be feeling torn between many things at once, wanting relief, wanting safety, wanting clarity, wanting this pain to stop even for a moment. This phase is one of the most vulnerable decision making periods in a woman's life. Not because you're weak, not because you can't think clearly, but because your emotional system has just been shaken at its foundation. What you're experiencing right now is not just sadness or stress. It's a nervous system trying to recalibrate after something meaningful has broken apart. And when decisions are made before that recalibration happens, they often carry consequences that last for far longer than the emotions that cause them. Today, I want to walk you through the most common mistakes women make right after separation. Not to scare you, not to shame you, and certainly not to tell you what you should do, but to help you slow down before something irreversible happens. Because most regret doesn't come from bad intentions, it comes from reactive timing. The first mistake women make after separation is not a specific action, it's a state, urgency. Right after separation, everything can start to feel time sensitive. Like if you don't act now, you lose control. You lose leverage. You lose safety. You lose your chance to protect yourself. And so women rush into to do things like sending long messages they later wish they hadn't sent, making announcements before they are ready, confronting people while emotions are raw, involving lawyers immediately before even understanding the landscape, agreeing to arrangements they don't fully understand, moving out suddenly, moving back suddenly, explaining themselves to anyone who asks, and many who don't as well. Urgency can feel responsible, it can feel like strength, it can feel like finally I'm taking charge. But here's what's important to understand. Urgency is often your nervous system saying, I don't feel safe yet. It's not clarity, it's not strategy, it's your body and mind trying to reduce distress as quickly as possible. And when decisions are made to escape discomfort rather than protect your future, they may bring short term relief but long term consequences. There may be a moment when you think, okay, at least something is done. But later, when things settle, you realize the cost. If you take nothing else from this episode, remember this one thing. Fast decisions made in emotional shock often cost more than slow decisions made with clarity. Slowing down here is not weakness, it's risk management. Mistake 2: explaining yourself to too many people. Right after separation, many women feel a strong pull to explain. Explain to parents, to siblings, to friends, to colleagues, sometimes even to people who didn't ask. There is an internal pressure that says if I explain myself clearly enough, people will understand. If they understand, they'll stop judging. If they stop judging, this will hurt less. So you explain, and then you explain again, and then you add details, and then you defend yourself. But here's what often happens instead. Every explanation you give invites an opinion. Every opinion adds pressure. Every reaction pulls you further away from your own inner clarity. One person says you're being too soft, another says you're being too harsh. Someone tells you to reconcile, someone tells you to cut ties immediately. And slowly, almost without realizing it, your decisions stop being yours. They become responses to other people's discomfort. It's important to understand this gently. Most people are not reacting to your situation. They are reacting to their own fears, beliefs, and unresolved stories. Their advice may come from love, but it doesn't come from living inside your body. Right now, you don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to justify your reality. And you don't need to make other people comfortable with your pain. Silence in this phase is not weakness, it's protection. You're allowed to say less. You're allowed to share selectively. You're allowed to keep things private until you feel steadier. Clarity grows in contained spaces, not crowded ones. Mistake number 3: letting your guilt drive your choices. Guilt is one of the strongest emotional forces women experience after separation. Guilt about children, guilt about parents, guilt about family reputation, guilt about time invested, guilt about wasted years, guilt about breaking expectations. And guilt is particularly powerful because it often disguises itself as responsibility. It sounds like I should be more accommodating. I shouldn't make things harder. I owe it to everyone to be reasonable. So women start making choices to reduce guilt rather than protect themselves. They say yes when they mean no. They compromise too early. They agree to arrangements they'll resent later. They say silent when something needs to be said, when something feels deeply wrong. Guilt narrows your options. It makes sacrifice feel noble, even if it harms you. But you know what? Most women aren't told that guilt is not a reliable guide. It doesn't show you what's sustainable. It doesn't show you what's fair long term. It shows you what keeps the peace temporarily. Decisions made from guilt often feel heavy later. And by the time that weight becomes clear, changing course feels much harder. If something requires you to abandon yourself to be acceptable, it deserves a pause. Mistake number 4: confusing emotional relief with resolution. After separation, there's often a phase where doing anything feels better than sitting still. Sending the message, signing something, agreeing to terms, making a public decision. There's a rush of relief that follows. And that says, at least something is decided. At least this part is over. But the emotional relief is not the same as resolution. Relief only quiets anxiety. Resolution protects your future. One fades quickly, the other lasts. If a decision makes you feel calmer but smaller, that's information. If it brings relief but also a knot in your stomach, that's information too. Your body often recognizes misalignment before your mind catches up. Resolution tends to feel quieter, less dramatic, more stable. Relief feels urgent and loud, and it asks for immediate action. Learning to tell the difference can save you years of regret. Mistake number 5, believing that strength means handling it all alone. Strong women are especially vulnerable to this phase because they're still functioning, still working, still parenting, still managing logistics, still showing up. So they assume I should be able to handle this. I have handled harder things before. Clarity doesn't come from endurance, it comes from support and space. Trying to process everything alone often leads to emotional overload, reactive decisions, and regrets that arrives later. Support is not about weakness. It's about widening your perspective before choices harden into consequences. You don't need more pressure right now. You need containment. And containment is something no one is meant to create alone during upheaval. Mistake number 6, making permanent decisions in a temporary emotional state. This is the core risk of the period right after separation. Emotions fluctuate, identity feels unstable, fear is high, certainty is low. And yet, decisions made here can be permanent. That doesn't mean you shouldn't decide anything. It means you should decide carefully. Before making a major choice, ask yourself, will I still feel okay about this once my nervous system settles? If the answer isn't clear, that's not a failure. That's a signal to pause. Pausing is not avoidance, it's intelligence. If you're in this phase right now, right after a separation, and you feel unsure about what to do next, I want to tell you this about a resource that I've created. It's called Before You File. This is not legal advice, and it's not a push to take actions either. It's a structured pause. Before You File is designed to help you understand which decisions need attention now and which decisions are better delayed, which mistakes are commonly made in emotional shocks. It helps you separate what's emotional and what's practical and what doesn't need to be decided yet, so that you don't rush into something later and wish that you had slowed down for. This resource is for women who want to protect themselves without panicking, to who want to slow down before consequences lock in, and make decisions from clarity and not fear. You will find the link in the description. You can look at it whenever you feel you're ready. No pressure, just support. If you're right after separation and you wish to hear this clearly, you don't need to decide everything today. You don't need to rush clarity. You don't need to do this alone. The most responsible thing you can do right now may simply be not reacting yet. Pause is not inaction, pause is intelligence. Take what helps from this, leave the rest. Come back when you need grounding again. You're allowed to move slowly, especially when the stakes are high.